The next morning, they call me back, and they're like, your stuff has more than doubled. Like, you're not having a miscarriage or anything. You about to have at least twins. And that's something I thought would be, like, realistic. Like, okay, I could probably have twins, but I am thinking, like, damn, I'm going to have triplets. You know what I'm saying? So that was rough for me. And they were able to see it very early, like a month. Like, they did ultrasound, and you could see all three of them. Like, little sacks, 3 little sacks. Aww. I was like, what in the fuck?
What song is playing in your head right now? Like no tune? Nothing. She's so nervous. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Straight Chaos No Chaser podcast. I'm Adrian, your host, and today my guest is beautiful Sauntaa. What's up?
Hello.
All right, so we're getting this thing going. Sauntaa, my little sister, that's what I call her. Today we have on our warm fuzzy socks. Y'all know I love warm fuzzy socks. She's wearing avocado socks. A friend of mine got me French fried socks. Foodies. So, what's good, bad, and ugly?
Well, right now I'm trying to join the Air Force, so that's kind of where I'm at with things. That's the good part.
Okay.
It's kind of holding me up for the most part.
Trying to get going.
It's taking forever. The bad, my daughter is having terrible trouble in school. She's terrorizing the school.
Chucky and Brother Chucky's child?
For certain. She's driving me crazy.
I finally am able to tell them apart now. We'll get into that. But so that's bad. What's ugly? Or
my job. I went back to my job, which I was gone for about a year because of COVID, and I went back, and it's just, I don't know. You can just tell the vibes are off. Things are just kind of off, and it's just, I feel like it's a place that I've outgrown. And so I'm stuck in the middle of like, do I leave this place or do I stay because I actually enjoy the job? Mm-hmm. But the people are trash. not all of them. If you're watching this, not all y'all, but most of y'all. 90%.
I mean, we speak our truths on this show, and so that's what I want you to do, speak your truth. Sauntaa and I actually met at work. She was one of my assistants. You started maybe like in 2017 at my old job.
Mm-hmm, 2017.
I think you started in like 2017, and we worked briefly together, and then you left and came back.
I've done that plenty of times. Somehow I always end up back there.
For good reason. But, so that's how we met. And her and my sister have the same birthday. Are you a Scorpio or a Sagittarius?
I think that I am a Sagittarius.
Oh, my God. You guys are Scorpios.
Well, I don't know. I know that a lot of Scorpios have some toxic traits, so I would like to not fall into that category.
This is true. But I mean, hey, however, some Scorpios have some really good traits and cool people. You know,
I think the men are the shitty ones.
She said it, not me.
Sorry, I had some bad run-ins with some Scorpios.
But so that's how we met, and we have done a few things together. Our bond got tighter, I would probably say, over the last year or so because we've known each other and we've always had a good relationship, but just things happen and things change, and that just kind of brings people together. And I truly believe that that's when you know who your friends are.
Yeah.
You don't know you don't know who your friends are when everything is good and when you're having a good time.
When you're low, like, who's gonna be there?
It's when you low. It's when you down and out. It's when things may not be going in your favor. So, there's a fine line with me when it comes to what makes a friend and what doesn't. You know what I'm saying? That superficial stuff that don't make a friend. Okay, but yeah. So Usually on the podcast, I do a shot because I do trivia. But today, because we are doing a Chaos Chill episode where we discuss more serious topics, in these episodes, I ask, when things are going crazy, when things are going awry, what calms you? Like, what grounds you? What brings you back to a place where you feel like, okay, let me regroup, refocus, and get going again? Like, what is something you do or person you may talk to? Like, what is that for you?
Well, over the years, so in the past, I would say probably in my younger days, I think it was more so like, I feel like I got to talk to 1,000 people. Like, I got to get it off my chest. Whatever I'm going through, wherever I'm at, I feel like I need to talk. And, like, as I've gotten older, I realized, like, the more people you talk to, just the energy you're bringing in. And sometimes the energies are not good. They might portray themselves to be good, and they're just really not. So I think for me, I've learned I got a journal, which Adrian gave me. Thank you. All this time, and I'm still writing in this journal. And if I pick up at random spots. But that and just praying, really. What about for you?
Yeah, praying. I've tried to get away from telling so many people about what's going on, because you have your friends, like you have your ones where, like, this is what's happening, and everybody's going to give their opinion or their advice. But I think that I find my most peace when I pray about it. And if I'm really praying about something, it really has to have a hold on me. Like, it's really, like, got a hold of my spirit. And I got to, like, talk to God. Like, recently, like, I was trying to listen to God. He was like, apologize. I was like, for what? And, you don't want to be disobedient. But the next morning, I heard it again. Apologize. And I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I was like, you know what? On this one, God, I'm probably going to disobey. But then even you feel conviction doing that. And so I was like, we get so caught up in, like, apologizing because of right and wrong. But that's not always why you need to apologize.
Yeah.
So I took a moment and was like, okay, let's think about this. And he was like, I'm not saying apologize because you did something wrong. Apologize for not understanding it better. Apologize for not taking the time to see how somebody else may have viewed something, Yeah. Apologize for being so emotional and just jumping to what you thought. And so then I was like, okay. And so when we surrender, like, it's really real. It
takes a lot.
It does. And when we hear, like, surrender and all this kind of stuff, it's hard. But actually, if you just kind of get out of that frantic mode and just be still and just kind of think about it and surrender and try to obey, it's always better in the end. So that's how I feel. They say whenever you pray, you better be ready for what he brings your way. So I try to do that, but we're not perfect. I'm not perfect, so I just try to, yeah. I just try to, be better than I was the day before. Like, that's all I can do.
Yeah.
So today's episode is, I had triplets. She had triplets at 21. 3 of them. So many questions. So, do you have, like, twins or triplets in your family? Like, your mom, your dad? Like,
my mom's an identical twin, and then my aunt I have twin cousins, basically.
Oh.
First to have triplets at 21. Holy shit.
So, what was that like? Because in high school, like, you were an athlete, right?
It was hard. It was a hard transition. Because at 21, you don't know yourself, right? You still lost in the world. I'm only 27. I still feel lost in the world. So at 21, I was a baby. Like, I still live with my parents, like, partying, whatever, being a normal 21-year-old. Well, I was actually 20 when I got pregnant. Gave birth at 21. It was just a really hard transition. And even to this day, it's like, I think what people fail to realize is like when you have kids, you're growing and you're still learning. You don't know how to be a parent when you first have a kid. Now maybe your second kid, they got
hold on, I have a kid right here. My dog, go ahead.
They have a commercial on TV. It's like a Love's commercial. Some of y'all probably seen it.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, you know, your first kid, you try to do everything all right. Then the second kid, you like, bring your head on. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you just learn. But it was a big transition for me because I was super athletic. I was just on the go. And I was one of the only people in my group, I guess my friend group, that didn't have kids. And they were like, don't have kids. And next thing I know, I was having kids.
So when you like... First of all, like finding out that you were pregnant versus like finding out that you were pregnant versus going to the doctor and having an ultrasound done and they be like, there's 2 heartbeats. Wait, there's 3. Like, what was that like? Like when you first found out that you were pregnant?
When I found out I was pregnant, my boobs were hurting and I was like, what the fuck? Like, why are my boobs hurting? So I'm like feeling myself. So my friends like take a pregnancy test and I'm like, I'm not wasting my money on a pregnancy test. I'm just not. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew that one day in life I would have kids, but I'm just going to be blunt. The person I was with was nutting in me all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I ain't never been pregnant all this time. Why would I be pregnant
Why
now?
today?
You know what I'm saying? So took the pregnancy test and coincidental enough, I took 3 pregnancy tests. And I read it and it was like, you're pregnant. I'm like, nah, bring me another one. Took it again. Nah. So then when, you know, at the time I was like, okay, my children's father, which is also my husband, I was like, okay, I gotta go show him like I'm pregnant because I'm telling him like, hey, I'm pregnant. He's like, no, you're not. So, you know, I go show him and that was what it was. But I had moved out at this point, and I felt like I was grown. I was living with one of my homegirls and I didn't want to tell my parents because I'm like, they're going to be so disappointed in me. You know, that's like a natural reaction when you're young.
Yeah.
And it got so bad. I was really dehydrated. I had a really rough pregnancy. So it was early on. I was probably only like a month pregnant. I just called my mom and I was like, hey, I'm pregnant. I haven't ate in XY days or drank anything. I'm not peeing. Like, I was dehydrated. I keep going to the hospital. They're not really doing nothing for me. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm cramping. She was like, you probably about to miscarry. Because I was cramping so bad. She was like, you might be about to miscarry. She was crying, whatever. Take me to the doctor. Back home. I go back home. Jacksonville, North Carolina. Shout out to y'all.
Shout out.
But I go back home and I'm like, go to the doctor and they're like, they do the hormone level test. Mm-hmm. They're like, you know, I think you're having the pregnancy in your tubes. I don't know what that's called. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't care. My mom a mess, sad. I'm like, girl, get it together. Mm-hmm. So the next morning they call me back and they're like, your stuff has more than doubled. Like, you're not having a miscarriage or anything. You about to have at least twins. And you know, that's something I thought would be like realistic. Like, okay, I could probably have twins, but I am thinking like, damn, I'm gonna have triplets. You know what I'm saying? So that was rough for me. And they were able to see it very early, like a month. Like they did ultrasound and you could see all 3 of them. Like little sacks, 3 little sacks. Aww. I was like, what in the fuck?
What was your first thought?
I can't do this. Like it seems so unrealistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, having a kid period is like, damn, I'm pregnant. But then when they be like, you got 3, and it was crazy because my doctor kept telling me like, you're gonna have all girls. He just was like jinxing me. I'm like, do not say that. And I was like, no. So not a lot of people know this, but I actually had scheduled an abortion. Hopefully there's no judgment here, but
there is no judgment. It's
I
your body.
had scheduled an abortion. I was like, I'm 20 at the time. I was like, I'm 20. Like, I cannot have 3 kids. Like, I can barely, let's be real, take care of my fucking self. So I scheduled an abortion. My mother-in-law, she called me and she was just, because at the time, me and my husband, we had separated. So he was like, I don't want no kids right now. Like, dang. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, tough. How am I going to take care of 3 kids by myself? I'm 20 years old. So she was like, don't.
And he helped. So,
yeah. So, thank God.
No, I'm saying he helped make these kids. So,
yeah, motherfucker, you going to come around with.
All right, but go ahead.
But, you know, so she was like, don't abort them. I'm going to keep them. I'm like, well, shit, if I'm going to go through it, I'm going to keep them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to get these stretch marks.
Your mother-in-law was like, don't abort the kids.
She will keep them and raise them. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Even before I had kids, like, especially now. But then I was like, if I bring a kid into the world, I'm going to raise it. Like, nobody's going to be out here taking care of my kids.
Right.
So that I still was like, no, I'm getting an abortion. They did like a little prep meeting with me the day before. I had an appointment at 7:00 in the morning. I prayed on it that night. That morning I got up and I was like, I'm not going. I think a mix of it was I was tired as fuck. The other part of me was like, I can't do this. Like, this is not me. So that led me down the journey that I'm on now.
With 3 babies.
6 years later.
So did you, what was your pregnancy like? Like carrying 3 babies?
Oh my gosh, it was so shitty. Like, I lost a lot of weight. Most people would be like, oh, you got a lot of, like, the normal thing that people ask me is like, oh, I know you were huge. And I'm like, I wasn't. Like, I was like a normal pregnant person. Like, because my babies were so small, I had one on one rib, one on the other rib, and one down on like my pelvic bone. And it was terrible. Like, I couldn't eat. I was losing so much weight. They had to put a PICC line in my arm, and they were feeding me through the PICC line. I had a nurse come to my house every day, and she would give me medicine. I couldn't hold nothing down. And then it got to the point where I was still working. Like, I've always been that person. I'm like, I'm going to work. I need my money. So I ended up getting admitted, and I was admitted 2 months before I had my kids. And that was hard for me because I got admitted in a town I didn't even live in. So it was like I had nobody there. Like, if my mom comes to visit, that's the only time I'm seeing somebody. And even with my husband at the time, like, he was in college, we weren't really together, and I was pushing him away. I was like, nah, I don't want to deal with you no more. So, you know,
like, I got 3 babies.
He was trying to come, and I was just like, nah, like, you know, so that was kind of how that was. But it was hard. Like, I went into labor on Valentine's Day. They stopped my labor, and then I went into labor again when I had them in March. So
was it your term? Were you termed, or were they premature?
I had them at 29 weeks.
I ain't never had no babies. What was that?
It was, I don't know how many months that is, my slow ass.
Oh my gosh.
It was early.
Weeks. 6 times 4 is 24 plus 5. So
what?
It was like 7 months and a week.
And what, you normally go like nine months?
I don't know. I ain't had no babies.
9 months. I had them early. I think
you're pregnant for 38 to 40 weeks, 9 months.
Yeah. I was trying to get them babies out of me. And now that I'm grown, like, I understood, like, the severity of them staying inside of me. At the time, I was like, I just want them out of me. But they needed to stay in longer so that way they could develop. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And even with my daughter, my youngest daughter, they wanted me to abort her. They was very, like, strong on this. The doctors kept telling me. I went to a lot of high-risk doctors. They were like, she's not going to make it. Like, you need to prepare yourself.
That's Amaya?
Mm-hmm. They're like, she's not going to make it. You need to prepare yourself. And I'm like, I don't know. I just never had that feeling. I'm like, she's going to be fine. And she was. I mean, she had some difficult roads. She had some chronic lung disease, some things with her heart. She's fine. She overcame it. Look, God be the glory.
So that's right. So she has 3 girls, Ariana, Aaliyah, and Amaya. And I can tell them apart now. They're so funny. You picked me up from the airport about... I think it was this past summer. I don't know. I think it was when I was in Georgia for a while, but you had gone back into the airport because you need to get you guys' luggage that I guess had been misplaced or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were in the back of the car, and I was sitting in the front seat, and they were calling my name. They were like, "Hey, lady! Hey, lady! Hey, lady!" I said, "My name is Miss Adrian." "We know your name, Miss Adrian. Miss Adrian." I was like, "Ooh,
little badass kids."
So when you had the babies, when did you and your husband decide to reconcile and, you know, make it work? Or
well, you know, that so he wasn't there. He literally wasn't there the whole pregnancy, and that was a lot. Had to do with me. I'm not going to put that on him at all. He was absent because of me. And I went into I just remembered the night because I had him at 12:59, 1 o'clock, 1:01, and I just remember like calling my mom. Like, my mom was there. I didn't call her. I was like, call Tim now. Like, she called him. He was first, you know what I'm saying? He was there. Him and his sister, my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law, they all came like instantly. And it was a transition because, I mean, we're young. We've been together since we were 15. We've had a lot of trials and tribulations. And we weren't together anymore. So it was like, he was doing him, you know what I'm saying? And I was doing me, like, before that, or whatever the case may be. So it took us a long time to really be like, okay. And I think my daughters were probably like, I don't know, maybe 4 months. They were young. And he was like, I'm about to join the Air Force. Like, I got to be able to provide and take care of you guys. Like, how am I going to do this? So that was a whole nother freaking struggle, because it's like, okay, I just had 3 babies and now my husband's leaving. I mean, he wasn't my husband at the time, but either way, he was leaving, and my kids had health issues. My daughters didn't come home until 90 days after being born. Like, it wasn't like a regular,
all
like,
3 of them.
2 of them came home 30 days. One of them came home 90 days. So it wasn't like, oh, you have your baby and they just came home. Like, no, they were not even in the town I lived in. So I had to, and I couldn't stay at the hospital. So I had to keep coming back and forth to see my daughter. Only one of them was staying there. The other 2 got transferred to where I live, but she just was too severe. She couldn't come home. So that was difficult for me, especially being 21. I'm like, I can't deal with this.
So I'd imagine, like, day by day, it was just kind of like,
it was a learning experience.
Pins and needles, whether she was gonna pull through or not. Mm-hmm. Man, at 21 doing that,
and then it was like I didn't know how to advocate for my kids. It's something some people may be just prone to. I wasn't, so I had to learn how to be like, speak to the doctor and be like, whatever, like, talk to them. My mom was always like doing that for me, taking that responsibility.
Well, I mean, you were young. You were 21 years old. Like, you're just learning how to be responsible and wake up in the morning and be places on time. And,
I just like,
so
that was damn. If I had to do it again, I couldn't do it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love my kids, but I couldn't run it back. Like, if they was like, I'm pregnant with triplets tomorrow, I'd be like, oh, I can't do this. Like, I just couldn't. Like, it's just it's a lot. Like, and even having my son, that it's so easy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, that's one, but then you have 3. And you had Elijah in 2018.
So it's a couple years had passed. 3 years had passed?
Sure.
2015 and 2018.
Oh, yeah.
3 years.
Why you make me do all this math? I'm not working. That's why you like, I don't know what the pregnancy is in the tube called. I ain't working. My brain is.
Look,
no, I'm kidding.
I think it's called an ectopic
pregnancy.
Yeah.
When you had the babies, were you living did you move back home?
I moved back home.
You moved back home?
Well, no. So during my pregnancy, my mom drove to where I was, which was in Raleigh.
Where you were staying with a friend?
Yes. And she was like, get in the car. This is probably illegal for me to say, but she put an IV in my arm. My mom had everything on deck, okay? She was like, you're not going to be out here.
Because your mom's a nurse.
She was like, you're not about to be out here, you know what I'm saying, sick.
Girl, Poncho be sick. I put IV in his arm. I put him in the bed with a bag of fluids,
Yeah, she was like, nah. She was hanging it up on the car thing. You know what I'm saying? She had it all laid out. And so she took me home. I moved back in with my mom. That was hard for me because my mom is a loving person. But, who wants to live with their mom?
Nobody. I love you, Lenars.
You love your mom, but come on now. You don't.
Mm-mm. That's the only thing that made me go to class in college. I was like, if I got to go back home with Lenars, she'd tell me when and where to come and go.
Yeah,
this ain't going to work.
And naturally, parents, I've realized, most women, they want to coach you on being a parent. I don't think that they do it like on purpose. I think it's just a natural thing for them. So, she was trying to tell me this and that, and my daughter had all these issues. So, it was a lot. It was a stressor on everybody. Even when my husband was gone, though, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law were really helpful, and they would take my kids. They lived in Virginia at the time. They drove down all the time, and they would take them and whatever, or come stay with us, and they would help me with them. So that was something I was blessed in that area to have that help at the time, until I got married and then moved to Las Vegas.
Oh, so you left from North Carolina and then came to Vegas.
Yeah, I drove. That was terrible.
Oh, so you only had to move once. It's not like you guys were stationed one place and then another and then another. So this is the only place that you had to move.
This is our first place, yep.
Now fast forward, they are 6 years old. Well, let me ask this. With your youngest baby, Amaya, having just like some lung problems and things like that, like, did she have any issues that the other 2 didn't have, like growing up, 2-3 years old?
So they all have speech delays.
Okay.
Hers is a little bit more pronounced. If you talk to her, sometimes she's still in like a baby talk. I feel like even at 6 years old, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. But she had torticollis, so basically she had really bad acid reflux. She used to hold her neck to the side. Mm-hmm. She did therapy for that. She had to get the barium swallow study. Is that what it's called?
Oh, okay. I what are you talking about? So a barium study?
Yes. And then she was on thickened liquids for a long time because she was aspirating. They were going to put a feeding tube in her. They ended up not having to because we did the thickened liquids and it worked. It was just something that worked for us.
How old was she?
She was young. she was probably around like 1 year old when that happened, and it was for a while. She was on albuterol and Pulmicort, so she had a nebulizer. She hated it, but it was just something we had to do. Even moving to Las Vegas, they were about going on 2 years old. I think around 2 years old. She still had to see like a lung specialist and everything, and it kind of limited where we moved because the Air Force is very particular about if you have health issues, they're not sending you overseas. We were supposed to be in Germany. Thank God we didn't go because I wouldn't know you.
That's right.
But you know, it was what it was. But it was hard for me. It was really hard. So
I'd imagine being a young mother, it's like you said, it's already tough enough being a young mother, but then being a young mother and your child, you know, has some abnormalities and just some difficulties growing and just doing normal things that kids do. So now moving forward to them being 6 years old, the little princesses that they are, what are they like?
Oh my gosh.
Y'all, well, first of all, before we get started, you know, the principal calling about little Chucky over here.
Before we start, well, in between this.
In between.
Oh my gosh. So as far as health wise, they're doing great. Amaya, she's a little bit more susceptible to things. She used to get pneumonia a lot. Even now with COVID, she's definitely somebody where you have to like be careful, because if she gets COVID, it's going to be a lot harder for her because her lungs are just not as healthy. She has outgrown a lot of things, but now, you know, people always say to me like, with the girls, they're so similar, but they're not. Like sometimes I forget they're triplets because they're so different. Like they're so different. They're alike a lot, but they're so different. Like they all have different personalities, and I'm like dreading when they turn 16 and get periods or whatever age you get a period.
Listen, baby.
Oh my gosh. They have so much attitude already at 6. And my oldest daughter, Aaliyah, she just has a really bad behavioral issue. And she's not something she does at home. It's at school. Like,
well, she getting up in people's face.
She's
and
6 years
chairs.
old. She's throwing chairs. She has spit, not at this school, but she spit on her teacher before. I done tried everything.
Do you know why she's maybe lashing out?
They're saying that they think it's for attention. And I can say that she's always been like an attention seeker. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact she had to always share attention. It's from birth. She's always had to share attention. I'm not making excuses for it because it's totally unacceptable. But, you know, I've tried everything. Like, she went to school, telling the school I'm in there spanking her and doing all that. Look, doing all this stuff. I'm like, look, I do spank my kids. I ain't in here hurting her, you know what I'm saying? But to a reasonable measure. And I've tried everything. I've tried to put her, like, she comes home from school. She needs to stay in her room till it's time for dinner, whatever the case may be. But she just has a really difficult time trying to bring herself back to reality and calm herself down. She's super emotional. So at this point, I don't even know what we're going to do.
Well, have you ever thought about maybe getting some counseling for her, or maybe just trying to talk to her and explain to her again? I don't have any kids and I don't know, and I definitely can't tell you how to raise your children or tell you the ways to discipline them. But have you ever thought about maybe counseling or talking to them about what sharing means and what attention means, and, you know, just kind of making sure that she knows that just because there are 3 other children in the house, that it does not take away from the love that you guys have for her, and that she doesn't mean any less, and she doesn't have to fight for attention and lash out and stuff like that.
I've tried to talk to her. My husband is more of a talker as far as like, I think he can communicate with them a lot better than me, because I get very frustrated. My temper, and I don't want to say my temper, but I just have a very small patience. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not rewarding you. Their school wants me to reward her for she has a good day. Like, no, this is what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And my husband is a lot more like level-headed with stuff like that and can talk to her.
I was just thinking about what you said earlier.
And has, you know, talked to her just about like, okay, hey, this is how you need to address yourself at school. And I have to, but I don't know what it is. She's hit or miss. One day she'll have a good day, one day she won't. My kids do basketball, so like a year-round basketball camp. That's really important to us, I'm sure you know, because me and my husband play basketball.
They athletes over here, athletic family.
So we've started our kids young. They started at 5. something they do all year round, and she will be out on the court doing cartwheels in the middle of practice. She is the only kid that's out there doing cartwheels. She's doing cartwheels there talking. She's just in La La Land. And I'm like, what in the fuck? And, she, people have said to me, like, maybe she has ADHD, and I've talked to my husband about it, and I'm like, I can see that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm in a weird spot with it because I don't want to put her on medication. Like, I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, let's just throw your kid on medication. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's try to find some solutions, because I feel like we need to try to nip her behavior in the bud now, because I have more control over her at 6 versus if she's 18, 17 years old and out of control. And the reality, you can do it all right. Right. And your kids can still end up killing somebody, or, you know what I'm saying? But you got to have the goals to set them up for success. Yes. Well, I know you've been asking me just like a lot of questions about my kids, my daughters, and I do have a son as well. He's
Elijah,
a prince compared to my daughters.
He's so handsome.
I love my daughters. I don't want to make it seem like I don't love them. I love these girls to death.
You know that.
They're just a handful. But my son, he's a 360 from them, a lot more calm. But have you thought about, are you going to have kids? Would you ever want to have multiples? I know some people, they want it. I think they're crazy, but
you know what? I've always wanted twins, and I used to say I wanted triplets. And to meet somebody who had triplets. But I always wanted twins because for a time, I did grow up as an only child. 12 years. And there were people in the neighborhood and stuff like that. And my cousin, rest his soul, we were like 8 months apart. And so that would have been like my brother. We did everything together, like baby pictures together. And I think we my auntie left us in the car. We were like 2 years old, left us in the car while she went to the store. And one of us reversed the car. Seriously. The car's like rolling.
You probably like these damn kids.
So,
hold on. Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Adrian has sent me, this is so side note, but it just made me think like these damn kids. She had sent me on April Fool's this text message, and it was like, did you mean to post these news? When I tell y'all, I was like running for my phone. I'm like, fucking, what did I post? On Instagram? I'm on all the social media apps, like checking, and I'm like, which one of these damn kids that I'm posting this shit?
No, somebody sent it to me. Like, that is my biggest fear, to like post something and it's a naked picture of me, like, bruh. So when my friend sent it to me, Ashley Mids, I'm just gonna put that out there. Yeah, you did this. I was in surgery, and in between surgeries, she texted me, and I just looked at the phone, and just that flash preview.
Yeah, like, the preview. That
did you mean to post news? I was like, oh my God. I was like, April Fool. But you was like,
sorry,
bruh.
I had to say that because these damn kids.
You like, bruh.
You like, hold on, which one of y'all? I even said it. I was like, which one of y'all don't have my phone? They're like, we can have your phone. We ain't have your phone. I'm like, one of y'all had my phone.
Well, why is nude pictures on the Instagram, on the media?
You're gonna have me hurt out here,
right? Exactly. But so he was like the closest thing to a sibling to me, and so I was like, I want to have twins because I don't ever want my child to be by themselves.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And so I do want kids, but I want a husband. I'm just being honest. And it's not because I want the status quo. No. When the baby's crying at 2 a.m., I want to be the one to roll over. Like, I'm just saying, it's your turn.
Yeah, you need help. Sure.
I need help. So
it ain't just the woman's job, man. Okay.
And it's so crazy because, I come home and it's just me, and it's just been me, and I have pets, and that's cool. But you think about the things that you want, because I do want kids. Like I said, actually, I wanted 5 kids. I wanted 5 quick kids. I knew all their names. 3 girls, 2 boys, set of twins in that. And then as I got older, it's like, okay, 3 kids. And so now I'm like, I'd be lucky if I get 2, Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I had this thought. I was like, I wonder if I can get pregnant. Because you start thinking that because,
yeah, of course.
I've never been pregnant. And of course, there could be some scares. I ain't trying to say that I'm perfect and I was always responsible, but for the most part, I'm responsible when it comes to, I know I don't want kids right now. I know I don't want kids with this person. I know, nope. So I've never been pregnant. So now I'm like, I hope I can get pregnant because I don't know.
Look, God's timing is impeccable.
Girl,
I mean that.
all the time. So now.
Look, you're going to have them when it's supposed to happen.
When it's supposed to happen. So I do want kids and, you know, if I don't have kids, you know, the question becomes like, would you be into adopting?
Have you ever thought about that?
I have. I thought about it briefly. Around the same time, I looked up like how much it costs to freeze your eggs. Mm-hmm. Because I'm 38 and I ain't getting no younger, and I don't like to be like, oh, my clock is ticking. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And for me, I'm not one to rush anything. I'm not one to try to, you know, just make things happen. Like, I just like for things to flow, just happen however they're going to happen. So I've thought about adopting if it don't happen. I think if I'm like 42 and it hasn't happened, I'll probably adopt a baby. Like, cause I do. Like, it's different. It will be different, you know what I'm saying? Because they say once you have a baby, you don't sleep no more. And I love sleep.
But you adjust, though. You know what I'm saying? You adjust and...
Yeah, and I think, like I love my nephew so much. I love this little human. But, like, the love that you have when you look at your babies, because you birthed these babies.
It's amazing. Sometimes you look at them and you're like, how did I do this? There's times I'll be talking to Tim and I'll be like, yo, we made them. Like, how did we do this? We made them. Even my son, I'm like, my husband has a soft spot for my son. I mean, me too. But, you know, we're just like,
well, with men and boys.
We're just like, man, we made them. So, you know, of course, naturally, you're gonna, it's one thing to, like my sisters, I know they love my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're great aunts, whatever the case may be. Even my sister-in-law, like, she loved my kids. But, you know, having your own kids is just like a different experience. Like, it's just moments you can never get back. These are precious moments. Yeah, so. Even now, I'm like, damn, I want another kid, but I don't. I just want my baby, so I need my friends to have a baby. I don't got many friends.
I'm gonna tell you what her girl said. So Miss Adrian can have triplets too, and we all can be friends. I'm like,
They did. They keep asking me. I text her all the time. They're like, they asking me when you gonna have some kids because they want some friends. Because I don't have a lot of friends. You know what I'm saying? My circle is very small. And that's another thing. When you become a parent, you realize, like you said, who's your real friends? And when the times get hard, you realize, because especially for my age, people want to party. Not that there's nothing wrong with this, because I still want to sometimes. But people want to party, live life, whatever the case may be. And I can't do that. I can't even go to the grocery store without being like, okay, well, are my kids going to be with me? If they're not, who going to keep them? Am I going to be paying $80 for somebody to keep them for 2 hours? You know what I'm saying? It's things that go through your head. You can't just move anymore on your time. Everything that you do affects your children.
And see, yeah, that's one thing that I think about. Because do you know how often I jump in that car and go to the store?
You'd be like, damn, I gotta get them ready. It takes
see,
me so
that's why
much
I need
time.
a husband. Hey, I'm going to the store real quick. Watch the kids.
I'll be right back. Stay with them.
Yeah. So, yeah, I want it. And, you know, I'm going to say this too. You know, I could have a husband and have kids and it not work out, you know, and we get divorced. And that's fine too. Because I'm not dumb to the fact that sometimes things don't work and you have single parents. But by that time, you know, if that were to happen, I'm not claiming that, you know. I got it. We good. They about 7.
You learn. They can cook their own eggs. You learn by that point. And I feel like even though your family doesn't live here, but you have like a strong foundation. I think that is important. I wouldn't really say I have a strong foundation.
Yeah, you have me.
Well, I do have you. I'm talking about
strong.
I'm talking about my freaking. I ain't gonna play them like that, but you know what I'm saying. And my family don't live out here either, so you know that makes it a little bit more difficult for me. But when you do have a foundation, it makes things a lot easier for you to, you know, move and function. That's part of the reason I'm joining the Air Force, because I'm like, hey, like, my husband is growing, but am I growing? Like, I'm growing, but am I growing in like a...
I mean, you do a lot of things, and I'm just, like, so amazed at the different pots that you have your hands in. And I don't think that I've seen anybody your age just, like, boom, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it pop. And that's what you do. She'd be like, I got an idea. This is what I'm going to do. Or she'd be like, hey, look at this. And then 2 days later, it's like, boom. So, like, talk about some of the things that you have going on and just how you got there. Like,
well, okay, so I've always been like a worker or trying to get some money. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else, I'm out here trying to get some money. So, you know, especially when I did have kids, because having 4 kids is expensive. You know what I'm saying? In all areas. So I started like my own cleaning company when I came out here, and I've been doing that for a while. I've kind of slowed down on that because I'm reaching out into different areas. And I had wanted to start my own candle company. So with my candles, I was scared because it's like, okay, well, you got to, so anytime you do a business, which I'm sure you know, you got to take in how much you're buying and like how much this stuff you're buying and how much are you selling for? Are you really profiting? Mm-hmm. So, you know, you got to start thinking like, oh, damn, I got to spend blah, blah, blah on this or whatever the case may be. And I remember, I don't even know if I've ever told you this, but one day I was talking to you and we were just talking about the stuff that you bought even for this. And you were like, oh, I spent X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, damn, that's a lot of money. And you're like, well, you have to invest in yourself if you want your business to grow. And that has really stuck with me. I don't know if I've ever said that to you, but even, you know, for myself, I'm like, well, damn. I started putting my stuff out there and stuff started selling. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, damn, this shit is really working. I love candles. So it was like, okay, well, I'm tired of spending my money on Bath and Body Works. I can make my own fucking candles. So that's what I started doing. I love it. And it was kind of sketch because it's like, okay, I'm about to leave for the military. So where am I at with it? And I actually just finished my website last night completely. Boop, boop. I've been editing it and, you know, just doing little things. And I'm like constantly like, okay, is everything spelled right? Because I can't spell if you know me. And I'm like, is everything spelled right? I got a period here. Is the punctuation right? You know what I'm saying? Is everything how I want it to look? And I've looked over it like 1,000 times. It's actually going to go live tomorrow.
I can't wait. I've been trying to get some candles from her.
I'm posting it tomorrow. And, you know, even with that was a trial and error. I had some little humps in the road. You're learning. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You don't know everything.
Everything is a learning process.
But I would say as a whole, balancing. Okay, so one thing I have noticed, I know you didn't ask me this, but one thing I've noticed is I'm having a hard time taking my kids to daycare, right? To daycare. So whenever I'm doing whatever, they're out of school. Especially because my daughter has behavioral issues, but they're a handful. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people are not used to all that pressure at one time. For me, I'm like, I do this every day. You know what I'm saying? So even when people ask me, I'm like, well, they're like, how do you do this? I'm like, well, this is all I know. You know what I'm saying? It'd be one thing if I had my son and then my daughters. Mm-hmm. I had my daughters first. So everything is like, this is what I know. It's embedded. It's like
now you getting a break.
Yeah, I'm just like, girl, you really over here? I took 10 kids, I swear to God, 10 kids to the supermarket the other day. When it went on my kids, I was babysitting. I took 10 kids. We walked to the supermarket. It's right up the street. We walked. I took them, 10 of them motherfuckers. And I was just fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here like the oldest one. Okay, you going to push them. We're going to do this. I'm functioning. And one of my coworkers see me. She's like, how you doing this? I'm like, girl, I don't know.
First of all,
you know what I'm saying?
Mind your business.
I don't know, but I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just something. So sometimes I get frustrated because I'm like, it's not that damn hard. That's how I be feeling, but it is hard to other people that don't have kids. You know what I'm saying? They're a handful.
Because me, I'm going to call you and be like,
come get these kids.
come get this one child that I got over here.
You know, but for me, I'm just so used to it. I kind of feel like I can have one thing I can say. Having my daughters made me realize I can do anything. Seriously, like there's no pressure you can put on me or nothing you can do to me. I'm sure there's thousands of other things I could feel or things I could go through. I feel like I can overcome anything. Like,
and that's what I was going to ask you. Like, what do you feel like your biggest obstacle was having not only one child, but 3 children at a young age? Or
it's hard. I mean, like I said, even to this day, it's hard for me just adjusting because I'm still learning. I was so what my mom told me was, she was like, you got to get them on a schedule. So that was the biggest thing. So a routine is so important in life, especially even with your children. So they was waking up at different times of the night, right? She was like, nah, when one wake up, wake them all up. So that's what I was doing. So every night I had a blanket on the ground and Bobby pillows. They're like the pillows that are like shaped like this in a U.
Sure.
So I had the boppy pillows on the ground, right?
Oh, some of them airplane pillows.
Yeah.
See,
the big ones.
Come on.
So I put them like boom, 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 wake them all up. I don't care. The other two not awake. Y'all getting up. I used to mix their milk in pitchers, Kool-Aid pitchers. I already had a whole thing of milk. So we just like boom, 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 warm them up, prop them up. I'm propping them with the blankets. I mean, you just got to develop some type of system that works for you. There's no right or wrong way to be a parent. I think that's a big like conception that people think like, oh, I have to do this, and this. Like, no, that's not how it is. You got to do what's best for you. Like, of course, there's certain things where you're like, hey, okay, hey, this is common sense. You need to do this. You know what I'm saying? But I think that some things come naturally. I had postpartum very bad with my daughters.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Like, to the point where they were like, do you want them? Like, the lady came in. She was like, do you want them? Because I was leaving the hospital a lot. And I was like, it's not that I don't want them. Like, I've been in the hospital for 2 months. I'm 20 years old. Well, 21 at the time. I was going through a lot. That was a big life-changing thing for me. And I wanted my kids. I loved them. But I had postpartum. And they were telling me then, like, I think you got postpartum. I'm like, I ain't got postpartum. But now, like, in retrospect, I'm like, I had postpartum. And then, you know, my kids had jaundice. My son had jaundice as well. That was a whole nother thing with my son. But it was a lot for me, even giving birth to my son. My husband was deployed when I gave birth to my son. Yeah. So I was initially like by myself. Every time I've ever gave birth, it's been my mom. My mom been there every time. Like, it ain't been like, oh, I had my husband there holding my hand. No, it's been me every time and my mom.
Every time.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm thankful for that. But it's been an experience and in a time, and I'm grateful for them. One of my daughters gonna be a president one day. I'm for certain. Like,
speak that into existence.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if it's gonna be Aaliyah because
she'll out of control.
She gonna be knucking and bucking up.
Maybe Ariana. She, you know what? So the youngest one, she's real calm. Like, she's kind of a crybaby, but she's real calm and soft and gentle. The middle one, she a little feisty thing, and then the third one, she just out of control.
So it's like,
so maybe the middle one. You know what I'm saying? She got that backbone. She got a little bit of a backbone, but a little bit of a like kind side. Like, okay, and she thinks she's so cute. She be in the basketball pictures like, okay. I'm like, where you get these pictures, these freaking poses from? That's what it is. She got it from me. She copying everything I do. And even with me about to leave for boot camp, it's scary. You know what I'm saying? I've never been without my kids before in my life, and I don't know how they're gonna adjust. But their dad has them, and I'm sure he's gonna make sure that they're okay and is doing everything that they need.
I know this is good. Like, I'm so happy for you, and I'm so proud of you.
I've been telling you this for freaking forever.
I know it's been a while, but I'm hoping that this happens for you and that there are not many more setbacks.
Been many
for you getting to your destiny, and I can't wait to come see you at graduation. Ooh, ooh. So, yeah, like I'm happy. I'm so happy for you, and I think you're awesome. Like,
thank you.
I think you're amazing. You are definitely super mom, and I'm so glad we had this talk. Like, and so that you guys can see this beautiful super woman over here. I'm gonna be calling her all the time. Like, the baby is this, the baby is that. What do I do? Like, I'm like really nervous about like when my baby
gonna be good,
gets sick and like has like. What is it? Thrush?
Oh, thrush.
Thrush, yep, that one. Or
my kids never had it, but my godson had it really bad.
So all that stuff, and just like when they sick, like I take care of pets. I don't take care of kids. And I even tell people at work, like, I don't do humans. Like,
yeah, I've heard her say that before.
I don't do humans, so I'm kind of nervous. But I mean, all things are gonna work out the way they're supposed to. I got a bunch of mamas on my team, so I think it's gonna be good. Well,
her time is coming.
So as we wrap up this show, I want to ask you, what is one thing that you want to leave with the people today? Just any kind of words of encouragement. I can't even talk. Words of encouragement, motivation, whether it's about today's podcast episode or just life in general.
I would just say, if you have kids, or not even kids, like just period, like you can do anything that you put your mind to. You just need to make sure, number one, that God is your foundation. I'm a firm believer on that. I went to church one time. Adrian wasn't with me, but it was at her church, and I don't go to church a lot. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm like a big church person, but there they told me that I talked to the dude. I was going through a really rough time in my life, really rough, and you know some of the spots I've been at, and you know it wasn't the pastor. It was like one of the deacons or something like that. And he was just like, you need to read Hebrews 11:6. So I really recommend that you read that. And I've even said that when we went to karaoke. Like it's in my bio on my Instagram. Like I'm a firm believer. Like if you don't have faith, how can you can't please God? You know what I'm saying? You have to step out on a leap of faith, rather it be your business, something that you want to do. And it's like, why are you going to wait to do it? Like time is never going to stop. Time is always going to keep going. So it's like, you have to do things. There's never going to be a perfect time.
Right.
There is never a perfect time to have a kid. Now, are there better times? Yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? But there's never going to be a perfect time. You're never going to be like 100% like, oh my God, I got it all together. Like, it's realistic. You just not. So I think just striving for your goals to push yourself to be the best you possible, and just trying to seek where your path falls as far as where God wants you to be. Like a lot of times I'll sit down and I'll pray and I'll be like, okay, where you want me to be? Like, is this where I'm supposed to be going, or is this where I'm supposed to be going? A lot of times I don't know. And I'm going to be honest, there's times I'm really mad at God and I'll be like, how are you real? I'm serious. Like, I'll be like, how are you real? But I'm going through this, and this. Like, you know, maybe making sense to me. And then I had to realize, okay, hey, you're supposed to go through this. Like, you almost through the storm. Like, just keep pushing. So when you feel like you low, just keep pushing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even if you don't got a big support system. I don't got a huge support system. You know what I'm saying? But I make it work. You just got to always make it work and keep pushing. And don't be making excuses for yourself.
That's right. We be sending them sermons.
Oh my gosh. Woo. Adrian has sent me some sermons, and I'll sit in the bathtub and I'll just be listening to them play. I got a speaker on my light bulb. I'll be turning it on. It be preaching. I'll be like, oh my gosh.
I be driving to work. I'll be like, read me, please.
You know what I'm saying? And you start to take things in for yourself.
Come here, girls.
So that's what I would say. Just keep pushing and trying to achieve your goals, and just know it's like a learning process. We all learn and we all growing. You can learn stuff every day. So if you fall short, it's okay. Like, just get back up. It's about getting back up every time.
I think for me, before they come down here, for me, my tip is, don't rush things. When they're don't rush things. When things are supposed to happen, they're going to happen. Don't settle if it's something that you don't want. Sometimes things may not be working out in your favor, but just have patience. That's what I try to do. And just know that all good things come to those who wait. And so we are going to introduce to you the girls.
Ariana and Amaya.
Come here.
Hurry. Don't knock these. Come on.
Come here. Come get on the couch. Put your shoes down. So introducing.
This is Aaliyah. Say hi, Aaliyah.
Hi.
This is my child that is always getting in trouble.
Oh,
this is my oldest
Ariana.
daughter, Aaliyah Avery.
Get down, Poncho. Come this way, Ariana. Watch out!
Another thing people always ask me: are they identical? They are not identical. They are fraternal.
Dancing. Come on, girl.
They are fraternal.
Oh, come on,
Amaya, come on.
Don't knock it over.
This is Ariana right here.
Say hi, Ariana.
Hi.
Delilah want to be in it.
Delilah's like, I'm a daughter too. Delilah, go.
Come on, Amaya. Stop. We'll find you in a little bit.
Don't cry.
Look, the camera's for you. This is Amaya. Say hi.
Hi.
This is my smallest baby. This is the one I was telling you had all the issues. She's amazing. This is my gang right here. Gang. I always say this is they were best friends at birth. Tell Miss Adrian, say thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so we're going to say bye. All right, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Straight Chaos No Chaser podcast. We are going to get out of here. And until next time. Oh, she busted me in the head. That's what having children is like, right? Yeah. Like, improv. And my dog.
And goodbye.
So until next time, let's say much love. Say love. Peace. And chaos. And say bye-bye.
Bye.